Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another podcast with myself, Harry Roper, and Sebastian Bayer. No guest this week. We've killed Cosmin, and we've hidden him in a basement from last time. So if you're looking for him, he is lost at the moment. No, but seriously, this is just a podcast, Harry and Seb Talks, where we chat about all things that we're doing inside our agencies, as well as talking to other agency owners and other freelancers as well. And yeah, this week I was just telling Sebastian before we joined that I've quit caffeine, which has been an interesting one.
Yeah, and we were I wanted just to ask him how does he feel, and then he said, let's just record. So how do you feel? I see you're still alive.
Yeah. It has been interesting, Seb, because I actually this morning felt tired and grumpy because I didn't have my usual cup of coffee / cup of tea in the morning. Is that yours there? Yeah, cheers.
No, I don't have. I will explain later.
For those who didn't see, Seb just raised the mug as I was saying all this. I thought he's throwing the coffee in my face, saying, I'm having coffee. Pretty much like this morning, to be honest with you, like I felt really tired. And then like I definitely felt like there was, and the only thing I can compare it to is cigarettes, where like you have this feeling inside your chest or like inside your body, which is like craving something, right? When you quit cigarettes, the craving is cigarettes. When you quit,
you have it in the chest?
Alcohol. It's weird. I always think it's in the chest, but it's like it's a whole body kind of feeling. But you definitely feel like you're missing something, right? Like you should have taken something.
For me, it's like here, for example, with I just ate an ice cream before Harry joined, and I was like, oh, I need to eat something. And normally I eat bananas, but now I feel like, oh, I need some sugar, and then I feel this craving for something sweet. And my problem is currently I'm working from the kitchen, so the fridge is in the back, which I don't recommend. And then you get directly, instantly what you need. But regarding the coffee, so how many cups of coffee did you drink per day?
Yeah, I mean, it was only one a day, to be fair, and then tea in the afternoon. So I wouldn't say I was a very heavy user, but there was definitely some sort of like craving / withdrawal there. But what I'm hoping is once I get off the caffeine fully after I've flushed my body for 2 weeks, say, that natural drink the coffee when I first get into work and you have a massive buzz and you just do 4 hours of really good work, perhaps my energy levels are going to like flat out a bit more. So when I come in to do work at 9 a.m., I can just do that load of work, then feel naturally tired. So I eat lunch and then have another boost in the afternoon as long as you keep your
I mean, I can speak healthy. For myself. I'm not a coffee drinker at all. I drink that was tea, what you just saw. So
okay.
I'm highly addicted to tea. So I drink
what tea?
All sorts of tea. Now in the morning I was having like green tea. I now have also some ginseng tea. Sometimes I have mate IQ.
Matcha tea, yeah.
No, mate it's called. I don't know.
Okay.
And they have also some stimuli in the morning, but also sometimes black tea, depends how I feel. And coffee, I drink, but only when I feel tired. When I need something to get like a boost, or I know I need to focus on something, then that's when I use coffee.
Have you ever tried quitting before?
With what? With
caffeine?
No, I've never addicted to it. I mean, you see me drinking a cup of coffee every 3 weeks or
okay.
2 weeks.
So for you, it's more of a treat in a sense, like it's a little treat.
It's more I'm using it when I need it. It's like for me, it's like I need to focus, or I want to focus, or I just want to drink some coffee, So But I drink my coffee. I don't know. How do you drink your coffee?
Hot water and sugar, and that's about it.
Yeah, for
Instant
me,
or brewed.
just black, like my soul, without anything. Like
Very nice.
without milk, without sugar, without anything. And what I like to drink sometimes after I had a heavy dinner, like an espresso. And you need to try espresso with cola zero. But currently I quit off all fuzzy drinks. Like I'm since 2 months.
Why did you quit the fizzy drinks?
I want to lose weight,
Yeah,
and on
nice.
the other side, I want to see what effect does it have, because I'm also not craving anymore for Coke or for Fanta and all the other things,
I think that's such a cool trend that I've noticed. Like when I talk to some people, they say like, yeah, I want to get rid of Coke I was about to say cocaine, but I want to get rid of Coca-Cola in my life and see what sort of effect that has on my body. And I want to stop smoking cigarettes and see what kind of effect that has on my body. I think Tim Ferriss is really well known for it, where he tries different substances to see what kind of effect that it has on his body in terms
What
of
I'm
like
trying right
productivity.
now, I don't know if I can show it to you. Let me show, because it's here. I'm at the kitchen table. Can you see?
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Like ginseng, red ginseng.
Ginseng.
Yeah,
Ginseng.
which I'm taking every morning. And I don't know, it somehow has a good effect. I don't feel so exhausted. It's good against fatigue. I mean, if you start with a low, I started with tea first. And then I was like, I want to try something heavier. So I tried it, and yeah, it has also on the memory some effect.
Yeah, I
So
totally I get them. I get them.
So what you mentioned with Tim Ferriss, I also read his books, of course, but I'm also experimenting with different kind of things in order to see what effects do they have on my body.
Do you remember the first time you had caffeine?
First time I had caffeine, I can remember when I had my first cigarette, because that was my first in my life.
Yeah, very nice. Very
I
nice.
think I was 7 or 6
Oi.
when a drunken guy gave me his cigarette, and I didn't know what it is, and and after that I felt so sick and so on, and this had for my entire life an impact. So I was never smoking a cigarette. I had a phase where I was smoking some cigarillos.
Cigars, huh?
Yeah, cigars, but I was never a smoker. Or for me, it's also hard to understand why somebody is smoking.
I think that's a blessing, kind of, in a sense, that you had that childhood trauma, because probably
thanks to this drunken guy.
yeah. The trauma has probably made your brain cement that as tobacco, cigarettes are bad. Don't have them. Don't consume them. Whatever you do.
I mean, everything what you are doing, like which you're doing too much, like which is addictive. Even when you do too much sport, it's also not healthy. If you do everyday sports, your body needs to recover. So it needs to be proportional and somehow in a balance. And I think this is for everything. What you do, what you eat, what you drink. And yeah, with this, what I just told you with the drink, I'm drinking fresh juice, like fresh made juice, something like this. Water, tea, and try to get all this processed things out of my body, because I don't know, I feel just better.
Yeah, I agree. I think for me the biggest thing has been like making sure that you have like a routine of exercise, meditation, getting all this nasty substances out of you, finding that balance, as you said, where you're healthy. It's kind of interesting, but like probably the people who like I'd be interested to ask you this question actually. If you're not feeling healthy, Seb, and you're grumpy or in a bad mood, or your health is just not very good.
You mean like last week when I had COVID? Yes.
But how I guess the question I want to ask is like, how important is it to make sure you're healthy so that you're there for your team, right? Like within your agency and stuff. to make sure that you're your best person, your best self as well?
Luckily, I can rely on the team. This is one important factor, so that I can fully trust them. And for me to, I mean, in general, for me, it's important to stay in shape. I like to do sports, and that, like, I started, for example, I was funny thing because with my yoga, I started this week again with yoga every morning. I looked on my Peloton app. When did I do last yoga? It was around 1 month ago. So I skipped for 1 month every morning yoga. I don't know what. I was in Germany, so it got interrupted. And it somehow, when you not follow your routine, somehow you are a bit also more in your brain, or in general, like you more restless. That's how I felt about it. And it also feels like I can't give my best. So coming back to the questions now, to have a routine helps me to stay focused and to be there for the team. And even in the agency, while we are at routine, I have some routines in my calendar, like monthly, weekly. For example, I'm checking with the SEO team, I'm checking with the content management team, I'm checking with the Google guys, and so on. What's happening? What are we doing? I'm asking them the same questions also with our monthly team meeting, in order to create and to build some kind of awareness for them. Also to have a routine in the team. I think this is also important, that they feel somehow it's like it has a system, you know, and they get used to it. I mean, I remember when we had first meeting with our team, like a reflection meeting, that was so new for them, and now they know how it goes. And you see the new guys that join the team, they fall easily in the row in it, and it goes on, and they feel they get something out of it.
Let's stay on the topic of reflection, because I quite like it, and we haven't actually spoken much about doing like reflection and planning before, but I know that the reflection really helps. At Imaginary Space, we do a weekly review every Friday. And what that consists of essentially is me writing down all the projects that we have at the moment and doing a brief 2-minute bullet point on where we're at with each project, writing about what we're doing internally, and then as you said, getting the other departments, business development, marketing, to give their input as well, so we can have it all in like one block. What does it look like at RE7?
We have a daily meeting in the morning. I mean, Alexandra has the meeting with the guys. Sometimes I hijack it when I have something important to ask, or when I just want to see what's going on. But normally Alexandra is doing this meeting daily. And besides this, we have, since a few months, we have now every 2 weeks like a learning. So somebody, for example, the last thing was Theo was teaching us TikTok ads.
Nice.
So we have 1 hour where she tells us about TikTok ads, and after that we have a quiz. And who wins the quiz makes the next thing. Before we had SEMrush. So this is something what we do. We have a monthly meeting where we reflect. So this is planned for next week. No, not next week. In 2 weeks it's planned, where we have a monthly reflection with the team, and then a quarterly meeting.
What goes into the monthly reflection?
You know what? Let me just look in it. Because
I know that
I put it directly in the calendar for us when we have the monthly meeting.
So with us, for the weekly one, I guess the main thing is the reason that we do reflections right in both of our agencies is visibility, because you're not always there with the ad guys knowing everything that they do. And at the same time, I'm not always there with the marketing guys knowing what they do. So having these like reflection meetings, right? The biggest benefit for a business owner, managing director, CEO, is visibility, I would say, and understanding how everybody's week went without having to have actually been there, because they'll tell you about it, right?
Yeah, so my agenda, I can tell you what it is. So what
Mm,
went good this month? What went bad this month?
mm-hmm,
What did we learn this month? What should we stop doing from now on?
mm-hmm.
And an outlook and to-dos for February. This is like our general agenda that we
I
have.
love that. I love that question. What should we stop doing moving forward? What usually comes up when that question's asked?
Like getting cheap clients, for example.
Yeah,
There can be several things, you know. I'm also doing this with each department
yeah. Mm-hmm,
individually every month,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
because there might be some specific actions that might not come up in the monthly call, but they come up individually. Stop doing, for example, one thing we didn't discuss it, but we acted on it. Like, we have a kitchen where we have all our dishes and so on, and the team was just not always washing the dishes. So
Yeah,
someone from the team decided, okay, I put now here aside, please wash your dishes. And then, like, PS, you're awesome. It
that's
works.
amazing.
It works. Yeah, it's so simple, but it works.
A mind hack. A mind hack.
Yeah, just like can be small things, can be big things, but to ask the question, what should we stop doing?
Mm-hmm,
I think is interesting. Also, what did we learn? Because sometimes they are not aware what we learn,
mm-hmm.
and to recall what we learned, this is also somehow like showing some gratitude.
I get that. Yeah,
Mm.
very much so. So it's really interesting concept. Sorry, my brain just goes frozen mode sometimes when I'm thinking about all this stuff because it's all so cool. And I love systems, as you know. So like systems and productivity is my
Yeah, there
jam.
is a really cool link. I can share this with the guys also about yearly reflection. And from this
Mm,
yearly reflection, there is an entire workshop for yearly reflection where I got this idea for this yearly reflection. And based on this yearly reflection, I made quarterly and then monthly. Of course, I
wow.
modified it a bit, but the idea is the same.
How
Um,
how do we ensure that staff are and employees are honest during reviews? How do you make sure that they don't feel scared or worried about bringing up something that might jeopardize another department or jeopardize another team member?
you need to create an environment where they trust each other.
Mm,
You can't fully ensure that some of them might not say things because they think that the other person might be too sensitive.
mm,
But what you should also know, that's why I know I have lots of calls, but when I don't have calls, I try to keep my door open as a sign, like you can come in when you
mm,
want and speak to me. Um, this is the thing what we can do. And of course, we shouldn't criticize them, to be open
no,
for this.
no.
And also when, for example, when sometimes we have new employees in the team and then somebody is saying something critical and they just want to criticize it directly what the person said and said, let's just write it down. Because when we do it, I write it also down in ClickUp or on our whiteboard when we have it in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I write it down, we discuss it later. But first we write it down like a brainstorming.
Got
So
you.
everybody can throw out what's on their mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nice practice. I guess the way that we do it sometimes is like you can automate doing your weekly and daily reviews by just having a Slack bot send some questions to an employee. The employee answers the questions and then that
We
gets
had this,
filtered
yeah.
in.
Yeah, we had this.
Um, so
It's also nice.
there are methods I think for like especially remote teams because I come from the remote agency side of things. You come from a physical side of agency thing. So there are like ways to automate and revise it. I think the benefit for a remote agency for us anyway is that we don't see each other all week. So one of the nice things about a weekly review that I've had with Amy and Leo, who both work for me, is I get to see them on a Friday, which you
It's
know.
the same for us. I
Yeah.
mean, there's also Geo and Alex, they work remotely. And also Alexandra is now 2 weeks working remotely. So it's also good to see their faces. And I mean, I find this also like interesting when I see you as a web design agency and me with the marketing agency. I still see that it's quite complex, this marketing agency thing. And somehow there are so many frictions for some projects or things for the web design project. It seems like it's like one big process, but there are not so many several things. It's like that's how it seems, you know. And I think you don't have to align so often like our team when we have, for example, Facebook, Google, TikTok, content marketing, newsletter running for one client. There are so many parties involved, which makes the communication also much more complex. And you have to discuss with the guys and see how we can improve it.
Of course. And I think that's a real big thing of like process, right? Like I was just talking to the guy in my marketing team earlier, and it's like the biggest thing that we can do in an agile kind of methodology is looking at what we're doing. Where are the things that are slowing us down or like causing us to have problems? And then being able to like write that down, as you said, and then refining your process. And that's, I think, the biggest benefit of reflection is being able to edit your process, right? And be able to figure out how do we get multiple parties onto a project and how can we do it more efficiently moving forward?
Yes. And I mean, this is always a challenge, especially when new things come up that you know you want to do, but you haven't done them, like TikTok ads, coming new things. And for us also, the hard part is now Google changes something. Like a year ago with Google Analytics for the new Google Analytics, you know, something like this. There's an entire different interface, another tool and something. So you need to modify the processes. And you don't have this only for Google, you have this for Facebook, you have this for all the other things. So that's the challenge, to keep the processes up to date and to overwork it.
I agree. It's quite nice talking about reflections because I don't think a lot of people do it, or they sometimes do. Do you ever find like when you come to do your planning that you use your reflection to help plan the next month, or is it more just to help you understand what happened that month?
For me, it gives me an insight. I'm not so close working in the team, so it gives me more from the outside, like a look inside the team. I also pick sometimes the employees just when they are in the office. Hey, do you have a minute? How's it going? How do you work? Especially with the guys that just started. Because you get sometimes more information from them when you speak with them directly. And, you know, for me, it's important that they can speak to me directly and tell me what's going on, because we want to improve. We all want to improve as a team, as a company, at individuals. RE7 is about growth, and that's what I want to give them when I'm with them in the office and discussing with them. And yeah, that's how it goes with the reflection. Also, you can only grow when you reflect, when you are aware of things you did and you want to change them or improve them or stop doing them, you know?
Agreed. I think a big part of it is like valuing honesty as well, and being able to be honest about everything, because if you try and hide your lack of performance, for example, you're only kidding yourself and the team. And in reality, if you can be honest and accept that some things didn't go well that month, you'll find your growth will be a lot more.
What are you doing for reflection?
It's a good question.
What are your routines for reflections per month or per year?
So we do a weekly one where everybody in the company who's head of a department, and there's only 3 of us, so we have 3 heads, and that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the guys know, because they cover different aspects of the business. Amy's on business development, Leo's on marketing, and I'm on design and development. We all know what's going on within that part of the company. So the guys are told in the morning that they need to just do an hour's worth of preparation. Leo goes and gets all the data from our social media accounts, so we know all the analytics. Amy just looks at all the outstanding invoices, etc. We then come together in our reflection, and first of all, it's very much like, okay, what's outstanding? What needs to be done? How are we doing on social media? What invoices are, out, etc. Where are we with all of that? Is there anything blocking anyone? I think that's a really important question to ask. We ask it in stand-up every day. Is there anything blocking your progress? But I think as well, like from a project perspective, is there anything blocking this project from being able to move forward next week? What key meetings do we need with decision makers? We really try and make our reflections on a weekly basis more about like, what do we need? What went well this week? What's outstanding? And what do we need to do for next week? So it's like a bit of planning for the week after as well. My monthly ones are a bit more interesting because they're a bit more about the agency. Like you can look at your month's revenue then and say, how did we do revenue wise? You can look at individual staff members and say, well, how do you feel that you did this month? You can even go into your task manager and look at all the tasks that you did and sort of figure out, okay, did we complete most of the stuff we wanted to complete, or did we have a bit of a slow month? The main thing I always focus on in my reflections to kind of like give some value to you guys who are listening, is that I would focus mainly when you're starting out just on how you can improve your process, and everything else comes second. If you can make sure that your process is insane and fast and quick, then at the end of the day, like you're going to be the number one agency in the world. Because Sebastian, what do people buy agencies for? Their process, their clients, and the brand, essentially.
Results.
Yeah.
Results. I mean, I see us like we want to keep our clients happy, and we want to give them the results.
Exactly that. And I think even like the team, some people buy it for the team as well, just to buy the manpower that you've collected and you've put together. But yeah, definitely like process. If you have an amazing process that can be automated in some way, or like you can increase the amount of clients that you have or you can teach that process, I think it's really important.
I mean, with the process, with the automatization, I mean, for the client, they just want to see that you are professional, that you care about them, that you do things. I think they don't care so much if it's automated or not, but you can feel it if it's like a continuous routine that you're doing for your clients. They can see this, how you approach the situation. They know you're not doing this the first time. They know, hey, these guys, they have done their homework.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
And what you meant at the last with the growth, the process is so important for growth. If the process works, you can do it for 100 or 1,000.
And I think it's important, right? Like we're not talking about processes like, okay, we do this bit here, this bit here, this bit here. It's also like, okay, we have a presentation that is used. It's the same presentation that is used for every single first kickoff call that we have, for example. We have the same proposal template that we use for every single client, and you just need to fill in the name and the price and then send it off. Having these kind of things sorted out in your process and understanding where the block is, like if a client gets stuck at this part of our process and it's happened 3 or 4 times, then that is a lesson that we need to learn and we need to fix. But it ties back to the reflection, right? You would never know unless you did the reflection, which I guess is like the thing we're trying to press today.
Yes, awareness, reflection, that's important. Not only in business, also for you personally. You need to reflect on yourself.
What would you say?
The only thing.
I'm really interested. I don't do personal reflections, but what would you suggest to start with?
For personal reflection, you mean? Like the yearly one, I think it's really important to see how last year went, where do you want to be in the next year. Maybe start first with a small step. Just do it once a day, like just for one day to see how it goes, and then maybe to do that at least quarterly to to see where you are, where you want to go. It's the same with the company. If I don't track if we are like heading in the right direction, it's pretty hard because I don't know where I want to go. So somehow you need a target, and that's also for the personal journey, that you need somehow to reflect. Can be like journaling. For me, it's more audio journaling. I'm more like speaking about it and come up with things. Can be with a coach, like with Brandon, like to speak with him about some things to get like an aha effect when you speak to him. Like sometimes you have this with people, you discover things, and then while you're talking about a problems or a challenge that you have, you are like, I have the idea, or I didn't see it in that way. And you are thinking after that, yeah, but I was just speaking by myself to the person. So this is something that helps, and somehow to track it down, like write them down with a pen or in a project management system, that you know what you talked about. Like we do our monthly reflections, everything we put in ClickUp, what we discussed. And before we start, when we start a monthly reflection, we look the month before what we wrote down and go with it through the team, because maybe something comes up from that.
Sure. It sparks ideas as well. I quite like that.
Yeah.
Very nice. Well, I hope you enjoyed that short episode about coffee, caffeine, and reflection, which has been quite nice actually,
and processes and all the other things.
A few little nuggets like hidden away. Would you like to do the outro, Sebastian?
Yes. Thank you for watching us, guys. Looking forward to our next show, hopefully with a guest. Let's see what will happen. Thank you, Harry, about your insights about caffeine, how it changed your life. And I'm curious if in the next 2 weeks you will be still without coffee. And yeah, if you want to know more about us, just follow Harry on imaginaryspace.co.uk or re7consulting.ro for my agency, or just on our personal profiles.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. Thanks for your insight as well. Appreciate it. And see you all next week. Cheers.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.